Hours. I'm Ryan Dennis, head of marketing, joined by my other uh, amazing. It's hard to put adjectives on you, Ian, because you're such a multivariate genius. But I will call you a growth marketing extraordinaire because I know we change your title every day. We give you a different set of tasks. You might be designing swag or whatever. But Ian, it's just you and me today. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm doing well. Thanks for the intro.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys get to join us to see what's happening inside of our office and our desks here. And today we want to talk about Oz City and what's happening right now in Argentina. Right now is the first time that we've actually seen autonomous systems built live for everybody in that community. And Tim is down there right now, the CEO and co-founder of OpenServ, uh, pilling devs, serve pilling devs. And Sushan is walking them through the early build flow, our amazing DevRel. And by the end of today, every team in that room should have their own functioning system, an agent or a set of agents working together that can collaborate together, can think, act, and even move money on their own with X402 and 8004 and all that. So it's wild to watch us go from code to coordination in real time. And the person instrumental in putting this all together is you, Ian. So tell us what's happening with Oz City. I'd love to hear from your perspective.
Yeah, so the team has been on the ground down there for about a day, and so day one officially wrapped. I think I've heard some very good things from the team that devs are particularly interested in OpenServe, and we've had some interested parties so far, which I think is going to set up a lot of like what we have planned for the upcoming like week and a half. A lot more successful, right? So Serve has been, or Tim has been on the ground, serve pilling everyone in a very respectful way. So uh essentially today what they're going through is just like a bit of an introduction to serve, right? So Tim is like opening up with a little bit about what we're about, and what we're trying to achieve, and then Sushan kind of comes in with a hands-on session, where developers will and builders will deploy their first specialized agents and then start to um, orchestrate them into an autonomous system that they can play around with and get a feel for. So then next sessions focus more on kind of like refining these autonomous systems, working specifically with these autonomous trading agents, right? And systems of trading agents that we released this past, I think, yesterday, right? So these were agents that are now live on Hyperliquid. They are, ingesting data, analyzing it, forecasting different outcomes for specific trades, finding the right setups, and then going and executing those trades on chain. So all of that is kind of in preparation for the focus of the following week, which is an autonomous trading competition. So developers there will be building these systems to go and trade on chain, and compete head to head. So we'll be seeding their wallets, and letting them go, rogue all over Hyperliquid. And so the winner will take home, a pool of prizes. And yeah, that's kind of how it'll go. But yeah, you'll see more updates kind of come down on your feed regarding like what we're doing in Oz City. So I'm joining the team on the 9th, so on Sunday. So we'll have a little bit more, rough cuts and stand up vlogs and whatnot. So yeah, that's a little bit about what we're doing down there.
Amazing. It sounds like a sandbox for
It
the
really is.
future of different AI economies, and you guys are sort of letting people go wild with it. You must be getting your bags packed and ready to go there to help these people really hire their own AI teams. What is one thing that I guess you're most excited about as you pack your bags?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not super excited for the 40-hour journey that it'll take to get there.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But I am very excited for once we're there, right? Like getting on the ground, meeting people, having these like, conversations where we can like really articulate the value of OpenServe and get people building in like the quickest way possible so that they can experience like the magic of what we're like really bringing to the table. Um, like really we are going to be the only place in Web3 where you can build, launch, and run your AI project. And so that's kind of like what we want. Like this is like a larger effort to get people to understand that, right? So what they build here can naturally evolve into um, an AI project essentially that they can then tokenize and let people trade and use, right? And so all of that activity around this like on-chain project that they're able to take from, or on-chain product that they're able to take from an autonomous system to an actual product, then burns serve, right? Like that's kind of the idea of the flywheel here, is that yeah, that's a little bit there. But
So day one, city setup, dev onboarding, got some live agent builds going on, and some teams must be building with X402 or ERC 804. I can't wait to see some responses from these teams as to what they're building. If we could see some demos, but we also have some other exciting stuff going on here with Hyperliquid, right? Did you want to tell us a little bit what's happening there?
yeah, I think first I can kind of elaborate on like the X402 like aspect of this, right? Like
Nice segue.
yesterday we the yeah, the announcement with AIXBT went out, where basically people can tap data and tap like intelligence and alpha from AIXBT just via micropayments, right? So I want to get it very clear that this kind of like flips the model for APIs on its head, where developers, if they're building on OpenServ, don't have to go through all of this very manual, complex configuration to bring that data into their build. All they have to do is use these agents that are integrated with X402 that can then pay for, or like buy, like pay per use, basically, right? Like pay as they go for the data they need. So it's super easy to then plug like anyone's intelligence into your application, anyone's data into your application through X402. And it really removes like a big bottleneck and headache, and just something that you constantly have to maintain as a builder. It really just removes that entirely from the equation, so people can build and launch a lot faster. So that is like the benefit of building on OpenServe at the moment, right? As you're deploying these agents, and as we like bring in more partnerships with different APIs. You saw the one with Dome too. Yeah, as long as they're integrated with X402, it's possible. So I think you're going to see a lot of these like autonomous systems that turn into these on-chain products being able to more freely, or like and the agents that power them being able to more freely go out and get the data they need to provide the right insight to their user, right? Or whatever your on-chain product does.
Yeah.
It could be data that they provide to another agent that goes and executes a transaction on chain, right? So yeah, that's a little bit more on that.
I love that. That's
But
such a big unlock, and we've been talking about X402 and 804 actually for months. I think it was in July when Tim was starting to talk to our DevRel about that. But it's such a big unlock because up until now, building with data has been like renting an apartment in someone else's city,
mhm.
and it's so difficult to have that access, to have that throughput and that consistency. You need API keys, you need their limits, you need their terms, and it doesn't feel like it's your system. So X402 really flips that. And I've been speaking to the base team. Even joined one of the telegrams recently, and what people are able to do is unbelievable. But with OpenServe, it's actually there's unlimited possibility here, and we're already getting that started. And the reaction from our audience, from people behind the scenes, from enthusiasts, investors, has been really amazing to see. Everybody is so bullish on this opportunity. Agents that just pay per use per moment automatically. That's real autonomy, not agents that we have to babysit. So that's really a harkening back to shadow agents, right? And that connects us straight to what's coming next. And we've also been extremely excited about the open arena, right? The open arena trading
Yeah.
competitions, and these same Oz City devs are going to plug their agents into real markets and could come up with all kinds of crazy use cases. So
Yeah.
why don't you give us some of the alpha there?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I already mentioned that the devs in Oz City will, part of the focus will be on building these autonomous systems that go out and figure out, like, kind of scope these different trades on chain, and then execute autonomously. But more specifically for like kind of the work that we've done on the like Hyperliquid front, right? Where you've seen already like what we've done with Open Arena for Polymarket. right? And this is an ongoing thing that we're going to continue creating content about and continuing to talk about, right? We've seen Gemini kind of succeed in many different trades where a lot of these models will sometimes also just defy the guardrails and prompts you give them, like the single prompt we give them. That kind of puts a limit on what they can place. So, like, for example, one of the limits that we had was $20, and Gemini decided to put $70 on a bet and won big, right? So we saw a huge spike in the chart. So really, like, all of this is a huge experiment to figure out like how agents act and actually execute. And what is the ideal experience that brings products that people can trust to market, right? I If I'm using these systems of agents, I need to have full confidence that they are going to be responsible with my funds, and so I need to be 100% certain that they will reason correctly and make the right trade, right? Like, personally, I don't know if I would have aped like half my portfolio on a single side of a bet where I could come away with nothing or everything, right? Like, it's a little bit, more risky, right? There's not really a stop loss yet that you can put into place. So all that said, the next focus too that will be kind of running in tandem with what we're already running on Polymarket is this Hyperliquid experiment, right? Where we have all of these 6 models that are analyzing data, forecasting outcomes, and executing trades on Hyperliquid, competing head to head, right? And so they're competing head to head through these systems of uh, of OpenServ agents. So you'll see that live, and it'll be like all the charts kind of, you'll see the competition in action. So that is to come. We're very close. I actually think we just got final approval to go ahead and put that announcement out there. So go ahead and keep your eye on your feed. But yeah.
Amazing. I think everybody needs to check out what's been happening here. This is the beginning of the build, launch, run era. So this is the first time people actually see autonomous reasoning
Yeah.
systems collided with Web3. Everybody else, to me, is talking about AI. They're talking about AI agents, but they're really using LLM wrappers, and they are not able to use these agent kits that you see with these traditional or Web2 AI tools connected to Web3. Definitely not this seamlessly, but and sometimes not at all, right? And so this is real stakes. And hyper. I mean, Open Arena is kind of like watching the AI Olympics, just seeing
Yeah.
every model trying to outthink the other, coming up with different ways.
Well, it's an
And we want to
environment
give
that they can prove themselves in, right? Like, that's the really important thing that we want to hammer home here, is that, like, this is how they kind of could potentially build that reputation as a product, right? Where they can kind of like start gaining the trust of potential users. In an ideal world where these autonomous systems become products that people could use, right? So yeah, that's kind of the thought. And I think like the next, like, logical, you know I guess, progression of this is, or iteration of this is, us kind of testing Braid in action too. We did kind of a smaller test with Braid and saw some positive results, but we want to keep testing a little bit before we go 100% live with it. It was very, very encouraging, a spike on the chart, in terms of, like, how uh, these agents really interpret the prompt and interpret the data, right, that they take in and analyze to then make the trade, or just everything in their environment. How do they take that in and use it to make a decision that's reliable, right? That's like essentially what Braid enables. So yeah, that is probably the next iteration that you'll see, right? So we'll keep running and keep gathering data on the Polymarket experiments and the Hyperliquid experiments, and keep talking about that in real time, as it kind of unfolds. But yeah, that's something to look forward to next.
so that's the loop, and as you said, OpenServe's logo is a flywheel in it, right?
Right.
Build, launch, run. So Oz City is giving the devs the arena to build, and Hyperliquid is sort of giving agents a way to prove themselves. And prediction markets give everyone a way to bet on on who's actually good, which model is actually working. And we've been working so much on benchmarking that we've proven in open live streams here how amazing Braid is. If you zoom out, this is the real story that we've gone from agents as apps to agents as traders. We really have the agentic economy here. That's the build, run, launch cycle that's playing out live. So the agents that win, they don't just get clout, they get liquidity, right? The leaderboard becomes a launch pad at some point. So we're excited to share more and more with you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Ian, what should we be focused on next as you get ready to head out to Argentina? I know we got some new swag on the way. Would you like to tell the people what's coming up?
Yeah, I would say just keep looking out for updates on Oz City. We'll be like really ramping up, starting after the 9th, and we'll have some more on the ground kind of updates coming from Tim and the team. But we're coming down there with a full creator setup. So get some interviews from developers using our platform, hear a little bit about what they're building, right? And yeah, give you the report live on the ground. So
Yes,
and
amazing.
then
I'm excited.
obviously the launch pad, right, is coming in November. So where November is here. So this is like something that we're yeah, you know the vibe. It's coming in.
Yeah,
It's coming in November. That's all I gotta
yeah,
say.
in November. In November, I mean, it's funny because people are the degens have been calling it a launch pad, but it's really a tokenization platform. And we really want you to know that the next part of our story is, because we've been talking about like leaderboards and these, open arena and the competitions between these agents trading on chain. Why don't you get to own these workflows? Why don't you get to own these competitions and these prediction markets? Why can't you own and make money off of these agents doing this? You can. This is the bridge to that tokenization platform, the AICM serve platform, where basically in November, you'll be able to own these. So Oz City built the first wave. Thank you for joining us, Ian. As the expert on Oz City, we're going to be pounding you with more questions for updates, and Hyperliquid is going to test them. Right? I'm excited to see what people do with that. We have more information coming out there. And AICM is going to turn all of this into investable assets for you. So you can make money while you sleep, and you can make AI tools in minutes. And that's the pipeline. Build, run, launch. You already know what it is. Thank you for joining our office hours. Grab a snack on your way out of the office, all right? And don't forget to leave your key card at the front desk. You're just a guest, okay? But if you want to work here, let me know.